Welcome. In this session, we will see how to launch a PostgreSQL managed instance in AWS as RDS instance and then connect to it using pgadmin and EC2 instance. So let's get started. I'm in the AWS console. I'm on RDS. So I'll just say the dashboard and you can see the dashboard. Now we are going to just create a PostgreSQL managed instance. So I'll just click the create database. We are here in standard create. You can go with the easy create, whatever you want. So on the RDS page, you will see there are several options. We have to go with the PostgreSQL. With respect to the version, there are different versions which are supported and are available. You can see Postgre 9.6.20 till 13.4 is the latest release. I'll go with the 13.4, which is available. For this demo, we are just going to use the dev and test setup. In the settings, by default, the DB instance identifier is coming as database one. If you want to change, you can change it according to your requirement. The master username or the admin username over here, it is by default Postgre. If you have worked on on-premises or EC2 instance where you have installed Postgre, so the Postgre which is available over there and this admin user, it's different. We can generate the password later on as well, or we can set the password right now also. I'll just say auto generate a password. DB instance class, you have to mention what is the amount of CPU, RAM, and the storage you wanted for it. For this demo, we'll go with the bus table classes. We'll go with we will include previous version classes so that we can just have a very light machine for our demo purpose. From the storage perspective, you have three options available. You have SSD, GP2, and then IO1 is available. You have the magnetic, so we'll go with the SSD GP2, which is high performing disk. And DB instance class, which we already discussed, it depends upon which DB instances you want for your environment. So you can select what is the virtual CPU and the RAM which is required, along with the network throughput. And we'll go with the minimum server configuration over here. Storage type, you have selected SSD. Storage size, we have given initially just 20 GB. Postgre RDS has a limitation between minimum 20 GB to 16 terabyte. We are not going to enable the storage auto scaling. This can be done later on as well. Availability and durability, this is not a production environment. Even if the availability zone where my Postgre is running, even if it goes down, I'm not bothered about it. If it is production environment, I need to have the multi-AZ configuration so that a standby of the Postgre must be available in another availability zone. So if one of the AZ goes down, then your workload can be available in another available zone. For this demo, we are not going to create it. We will just say do not create a standby instance, but this can be done. We'll go with the VPC, the default one. But in real environment, you should have a new VPC, and it is always preferred to keep your RDS instance in a created VPC. Public access, there is no reason that you should have the public access for your managed RDS instance for PostgreSQL. We will go with the public access because we wanted to access it from our system and from other resources. But if you wanted to say no, you can just say no and it will not be available publicly. We will go with the default security group. We are not going to choose any availability zone, so it is going to take any of these three availability zones. So by default, I have taken the these are the different options which are available for your region. So I have selected the Asia Pacific, and according to your requirement, you can go with that. Additional configuration. In additional configuration, you have the port number. If you wanted to change the port, you can change it over here. We'll go with the default password authentication, the way it works in normal Postgres standalone environment. If you wanted to go with the additional configuration, you can set some initial database name, but later on this also it can be created, so it is up to you. DB parameter option, we will discuss about the DB, what is DB parameter, and the option group. We're not going to enable the automated backup. This can be enabled later on also. This is a good thing in managed instance in RDS. So you can enable the automated backup, so you can do point in time recovery. So this is one of the overhead which has been taken away from the administrator. So I'll just unselect it. The data at rest and the data in transit, they both are encrypted. So we will so you can enable this for the encryption. If you wanted to have the performance inside available, so you can just retain the duration. If you wanted, for the default one, it is just 7 day. If you wanted to retain for a longer period, you can have that as well. So we'll go with the default one. And in case you wanted to have the enable enhanced monitoring, so you can go with the enhanced monitoring. So you can see what are the different processes or threads of the CPU which are using the resources. And you can export your logs to your CloudWatch. CloudWatch is the default way of monitoring solution in RDS and in AWS. So we will select log export so that we can see what is happening back behind the scene. Maintenance, so minor upgrade in Postgre in RDS or any other relational database, it is automatically taken care by AWS. So if you enable it by default, so it will be upgraded, and you can select the maintenance window where it is going to be upgraded. This is the estimated monthly charge which is going to be incurred on this particular instance. We'll just say create database, and this will be created. And then we will understand what are the different components which are. This is going to take at least a couple of minutes or so. It is still in the creation step. You can see the different options which are available over here. There is much more than this which can be done. Once it is ready, it will be available with the endpoint and the port number. Port number will be 5432, and the availability zone, the VPC, and the security group. So we have to be careful with the security group, because this is how we make sure that the remote instances get connected to your Postgre RDS instance. Still being spin up, so we will have to wait for some time. On the monitoring part, so who is going to take care of the monitoring? It is being taken care by the CloudWatch, which is the default way of monitoring your AWS resources. So it is going to show you the CPU utilization, the DB connections, the free storage, the freeable memory. And this way, by default, there are some 24 parameters. So you can go to the next page, and you should be able to see the queue length, read throughput, swap usage, write latency. So on each page, I believe there are 6 parameters. It's all related to the network over here, and then it is related to the replication in case you have enabled the replication, uh, and that's it. Or you can put everything over here on the same page as well. So all the parameters which are being monitored, they are available over here. Let's see what is the status. It is still creating. Let's go to the logs and the events. In the logs and the events, it will show you when they in the event section, it will show you when the DB instance was created, when the CloudWatch logs exported, which logs. So we are talking about the PostgreSQL log and the upgrade log. and it will show you the master password when it was reset, DB instance when it was shut down or it was started. So those information you will be able to see. If you wanted to see the Postgre error log, then you can just click over here and just see, just do the watch, and it is going to show you what all information is written over here. Let's go back again. Let's check the status, what it is. It is active. I think it is available and ready. So we should be able to see the status. Okay. And if you just click database one, which we have created, monitoring, log and events we have seen, and then we go with the configuration. It is going to show you the DB instance ID, which we have created is with the default name, which is database one. Database version is 13.4, and this is the security group. This is the ARN name. Availability. So what we need for the connection is the master username and the password. We see only the username is there. We can reset the password now. And storage level, it is encrypted. The default storage which is available is 20 GB, and that's it, the basic information. And then maintenance and backup, it will show you if the maintenance, so it is showing that minor upgrade is disabled, and automated backup is already disabled. We didn't do it because it was a demo and the development box, but this can be checked or enabled anytime later as well. So we will click it, and for connection what we need is we need the endpoint. So we will take this, and what we are going to do is we are going to connect it with pgadmin. For connection with the pgadmin, I would need the host name, user ID, and the password, and the port name is default one, which is 5432. We will go with this. This may take a little bit of time, maybe a minute or so. I'll put the host name over here. The username is this one, and let's, okay. I'll go to the servers. I'll just say create server. Mention the host name over here. The host name is this one. Just copy and put it over here. And in the connections, you just have to mention the port name, which is 5432, which we have taken by default. The admin user is Postgre. Sorry, the database name is Postgre. The username is Postgre, and we will find the password and put it over here. So what we need to do is we need to go back over here, and we'll just have to say, just click this one, and under the modify, what we are going to do is we are going to reset the password of Postgre admin user. So you can see all the details are there. DB identifier is there. New master password. We will just copy and paste this one. I want to keep password as this one. I'll confirm the password, and rest of the things I don't want to change anything, so I'll keep everything the way it was, and I'll just say continue. Modify DB instance. So we'll see what is the status as of now. Let's put this password in pgadmin so that we should be able to connect. Okay, password authentication failed. Let us see if it is already modified or not. We will modify once again. This is the password which we wanted to key for the PostgreAdmin user. Okay, I think the changes are still not done, so we will wait for some more time. It is still resetting, that's why we are not able to do it. I thought it's already done. We'll check the status again. Well, this is still doing its task. And in the meantime, once we are able to connect with this, let's save the password. We'll say save the password, and okay, we are able to connect now. You can see that we are able to connect with the RDS instance. We have the Postgre database and RDS admin database, which is provided by the RDS for the management purpose, and we do not have access to it. The other thing which we have to do is using an EC2 instance, we will try to connect with this. So I have the EC2 instance already available and running. We'll go to that, and this is the host name. EC2 hyphen user sudo su space minus postgre, and we will say psql and let me see. Okay, what we are going to do is we are going to connect with the, so what we have to fire the command psql hyphen u hyphen h and the host name of or the endpoints of your RDS instance. And I'll explain what are the different challenges that you may face. This is the endpoint. I'll just copy and paste. So I'm just saying PSQL hyphen U, username is Postgre, which is admin user hyphen H. This is the remote RDS instance, and just press enter. And we will feed in the password. This is the password. We are able to connect with the RDS instance from an EC2 instance. And the different challenges which you will face when you try to do it yourself is regarding the security group. So what you need to do is when you click on the security group, you need to go and check your inbound rules. Since I had already done this step for you, what you have to do it when I'm trying to connect with my local system, which is my system. So what I have to do, I have to just say add rule, and here I have to give PostgreSQL, and then I have to feed in my IP address in case I'm just trying to log in with my IP address on port number 5432. This is already done, and this IP keeps on changing. This is dynamic in nature. So you just save, and you will be able to connect from your system, because that's the way how you control the security group. The other thing is when you have to connect your RDS instance, when you try to connect your RDS instance, this is the security group of my RDS instance. And if I just say add rule, I wanted to connect from the EC2 instance. So I need to just mention the IP address. Let's say I am just giving the public IP address and private IP address of my EC2 instance. So what I have to do is I again have to go to PostgreSQL port, and I have to mention the IP address and then save it. And that's how what we do when we try to connect RDS instance remotely. So everything revolves around the incoming connections to your RDS. So you need to make sure that your security group allows incoming connection from your EC2 instance or from your local instance or any IP address which you are trying to connect. In RDS, you do not have access to pg_hba.conf, so you cannot do anything. And one of the difference over here will be when you try to connect to your RDS instance, by default you will be able to see there is a Postgre database, and you will be able to see there is something called as RDS admin. So this is the management database which is not accessible from outside the world. And if you see, it is going to show you some of the error messages over here, so you cannot access this. Also, RDS cannot be accessed on port number 22, so the only way you have to log in is the database port, which is 5432. In another session we will see more topics about this. I hope this is going to help, and